We are going to add 3 markers to the map: a simple marker, a custom marker with default window, and another custom marker with custom window. Let's go to Java file. Over here I have added 3 locations: Sydney, Brisbane, and Adelaide. Also I have initialized all the buttons and added on click listener for them. So the first one is very easy, adding a simple marker. All we need to do is call Google Map.add marker, marker option, dot giving it a position. I am going to use Sydney, and giving it a title. I also type Sydney over here. That's it, that's a simple marker over here. But if we click on this button multiple times, it is going to add the same marker multiple times. For example, if we click this button 4 times, we are going to add 4 markers to Sydney, but they will be on each other, so we can only see one. We can use Google Map.clear to clear all the previous markers or shapes. So whenever we click on this button or another one, it will clear the previous markers and only add the marker that we have added after this code. So let's get to the second one. A marker with default window, a custom marker with default window. I am going to repeat this code over here and here. And for this one, I am going to type custom InfoWindow adapter that use default InfoWindow to true. I will explain what this is. This class over here is actually, I have made it, and you can see the code here. You can copy paste this file from the resources. I am going to explain what this is at the end of this video. Basically, if we set use default InfoWindow to true, it will make a custom InfoWindow adapter with default info. If we set that to false, we need to make a custom info ourselves. So for this one, we want to use the default InfoWindow, and for the second one, we want to use a custom InfoWindow. So I set this one to false. Also, I am going to add a method over here, add markers to map. And we can use it for the next one too. The next thing we want to do is calling Google Map set InfoWindow adapter to the class that we have added, custom InfoWindow adapter. So the code for these two are almost the same, with the difference with setting this one to false and this one to true. And the other codes will happen over here. If use the default InfoWindow is true, which means we want to use the default InfoWindow, then it returns null. So we are going to use the default InfoWindow. But if this is false, we are going to render the InfoWindow ourselves. And this is how we are going to render it. At the beginning in the constructor, there is two layout inflator. This is the two layout that I have made. One of them is this one. I am using a image view over here, a green background, and a text view for title, and another one for a snippet. The same over here. We need a window and a content for using custom InfoWindow. So I have added these two inside the constructor. If we want to use the default InfoWindow, we simply return null. Otherwise, we render, which is the code for these two over here. So if the location is Brisbane, simply set the image to this one, and if it is Adelaide, set the image to this one. And the other things are getting the title and the other stuff. So let's add this method. And over here, we are going to add our marker options. We added a new marker option over here. It was very simple. We added a marker option over here. It was very simple. We are going to add a little bit more complicated marker options over here. So I am going to make a marker option. I am going to make a marker option for Brisbane and another one for Adelaide. So I am simply setting the position for this one to Brisbane, and I am going to change the title to Brisbane also. And setting the snippet to, for example, this is the population for Brisbane. I want to see the title and the population for that city in the info window. The next thing is adding an icon. For this one, I am going to use the default markers that Google has provided for us. I am going to use Bitmap descriptor factory default marker, Bitmap descriptor factory. I am going to use one of this one, for example, Hue Azure, and this is an icon over here. We can set the drawable to true or false. I am going to set it to true. And finally, I am going to call this one and set Brisbane to Google Map, add marker. I have added the marker to this variable over here on the top, so we can check whether the marker is Brisbane or Adelaide, and set the corresponding image to that one. For the Adelaide, I am going to use the same thing, changing this to option 2, changing the population, also changing this variable to Adelaide. Okay, but for the icon, I am going to use a custom icon. I am going to load an icon from Drawable folder and put it there. So let's delete this. If I press Ctrl P, we can see it gets a bitmap descriptor, so we can't give it a drawable. What we need to do here is converting drawable to bitmap. So I am for that one, I have added a method which handles conversion for us. This method is very useful. It is going to convert drawable to bitmap. We give it a drawable, it will convert it and return back the bitmap as a bitmap descriptor. This is the code for it. You can type it or copy paste it from the resources. So I am going to convert the drawable to bitmap, and I am going to use, let's actually type drawable over here, making a new drawable object. I am using this icon over here for our window, for our InfoWindow icon. So that's it. That's all we need to do. The first one was a simple marker option. The second one was a custom marker. We are using this icon and another one over here, but with default InfoWindow. The third one was a custom marker again with these two icons, but we are going to use these two as our InfoWindow. So let's run this. If I click on simple marker and go to Sydney, you can see the simple marker over here. If I click custom with default window, this is for Brisbane and this is for Adelaide. If I click on it, we can see and take a look at the InfoWindow. It is a white with a triangle at the bottom. This one is a custom marker but with default InfoWindow. And if I click on this one, custom marker with custom window, and click on them, you can see now we have an image and a green background. Also, we don't have the triangle over here. If you are new to our channel, please subscribe, and if you like our videos, please like them or add a comment or share it with your friends.